as I was walking into the supermarket where I live, very major brand market, the manager just happened to be at the door, and he said, "Sir, face mask?" You know, and he had one in his hand, like they just walk around with extra face masks. I said, "No, I have issues with those." He said, "Okay, just make sure you stay 6 feet away from people." I said, "Well, they got masks on. They should be all right." I walked into the store. I mean, just like someone said, the time that it takes people to try to argue with you who has the mask on towards you if you don't have the mask on, that's air pollution right there. You're wasting everyone's time when you would and should rather me keep my mouth closed and even go out to the self-checkout line, which I did, instead of me arguing back with you and getting germs on your mask, whether I have it or not. Just for a fucking Karen video. So yeah, Daryl Marble said that, you know what I mean? But yeah, it takes more stupidity to sit there and argue with you. You got a mask on. Live and be fucking happy.
Yeah, no fans here, a little bit awkward, so no pressure on Dr. Fauci. Throwing out the first pitch, and it is a doozy, not even close. And that sums up basically how 2020 has gone, and if that is any indicator of how it will proceed forward, let's be honest with you, we are all fucked. We thank Dr. Fauci for his time, and hopefully he can get back to going to find a cure so he can get fucked up at baseball games. Once again, as he stands awkwardly for the pitcher, he's trying to get off that field as fast as he can. Fauci checking out.
And I tell my friends, do not forget to breathe. I tell my family that too. Standing there taking pictures with these fucking masks on. Do not forget to breathe. And look at this motherfucker.
More than 23,000 Americans who have died from the coronavirus.
Now the deadliest nation in confirmed COVID-19 fatalities.
How many of those people had other health risks at play, though?
Cannot find anywhere the definition of what it means to die from this virus.
The idea that we're going to allow people to massage and sort of game the numbers is a real issue because we're going to undermine the trust.
As deaths in the U.S. from COVID-19 have increased, the death toll count has been misinterpreted and even played down by some.
For many years, the CDC has tracked the total number of Americans who die every week from pneumonia. For the last few weeks, that number has come in far lower than at the same moment in previous years. How could that be? Well, it seems entirely possible that doctors are classifying conventional pneumonia deaths as COVID-19 deaths. That would mean this epidemic is being credited for thousands of deaths that would have occurred if the virus never appeared here.
Carlson was referring to CDC data that was also widely circulated on social media. But the CDC said those data are incomplete. And others on Twitter pointed out that the so-called dip in pneumonia cases is caused by a lack in reporting and has occurred in past years too. President Trump has also cited misleading figures on swine flu and seasonal influenza to minimize COVID-19 deaths.
We lose thousands and thousands of people a year to the flu. If you look at swine flu, 17,000 people died.
But this is like comparing apples and oranges. Numbers for those diseases are after-the-fact estimates that account for what deaths could be related to flu infection. This is known as excess mortality, statistical modeling on the number of deaths beyond what death trends show. The actual number for COVID-19 will most likely be much higher, but that will only come to light 2 to 3 years from now. Here's a comparison showing the first 65 days of the 2009 swine flu and the 2020 COVID-19 outbreak in the US.
And if everybody's being automatically classified, if they're found to have COVID-19 as a COVID-19 death, we're going to get a very large number of deaths that way, and we're probably not going to have an accurate count.
If people have an underlying condition, it is exacerbated by the virus, and therefore included in the death count. Medical experts on Trump's coronavirus task force have rejected the theory that death toll numbers are inflated by patients with prior illnesses.
So those individuals will have an underlying condition, but that underlying condition did not cause their acute death when it's related to a COVID infection. In fact, it's the opposite.
You will always have conspiracy theories when you have very challenging public health crises. They are nothing but distractions.
In fact, public health and government officials claim the death toll is most likely undercounted. For instance, New York City announced a revised death count that showed a 57% increase over the previous figure. Many people who die at home are reported to a patchwork system of responders who don't follow a uniform system for investigating cause of death. Until mid-April, the CDC only counted deaths in which the presence of the novel coronavirus was confirmed from a laboratory test. And a widespread lack of testing in the early weeks of the outbreak in the US means people who most likely died from COVID-19 were not counted. Plus, tests in certain rural areas, prisons, and nursing homes are still hard to come by. As they are vital to prevent the virus from spreading among the living, they are not being used on those who have died.